Hey everybody, Shawn Holsinger here from holsingersflyshop.com, bringing you a dry fly pattern. It's called the Fat Albert. It's a big hopper pattern, and it's going to be great for an out west trip. This one, actually, the ones I'm tying here in this video, they're going to Patagonia next year, so give them a try down there too. But it's a very easy pattern to tie with foam and a little bit of practice, and you can tie these pretty quickly. So here you're going to see a picture of it, the video with the material list, and the video on how to tie it. Okay, here you see the Fat Albert. This is a hopper pattern. Very cool fly, not too hard to tie. Let's get into tying it here. So for a hook, we're going to use a Firehole. This is an 839. I'm tying this one kind of big on a size 6. Tie them down into size 12s, up to size 6s if you're fishing for big western hoppers or something. For thread, I'm using some 210 black. The body on this, the underbelly on this is going to be black, and it's just really easy to work with the 210 thread for bigger flies like this. First thing I want to put down here is a piece of foam, and this is 2mm, this is tan, but whatever color you want the back of your fly to be, that's the first color you want to wrap down. I'm going to cut this about the hook gap width. For this size 6 here, it's about 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to come back about a third of the way back the hook, and I'm going to wrap this down really tight on the hook. So I'm going to kind of roll it around the hook a little bit and wrap it back to the bend. And then we're just going to cover it up with nice tight wraps, trying to make that hook shank as small as I can, crimp that foam down as best I can. So this is that was 2 mil. The next piece I want to put on, I want to build up just a little bit of body. So for that, I'm going to use 3 mil foam. There you can just see the little bit of the difference there between the 2 and the 3. And for this one, I want to go a little bit less than the hook gap. I want to go about 1/4 of an inch. If the last one was 3/8 of an inch, I want 1/4 of an inch on this one. And I'm going to actually take and just trim down a little bit on the top of this. For where I tie down, because I'm using that 3mm, I want to shrink the size of what I have to tie down here a little bit. So there you see, I just knocked off the edges of the top, and I'm going to sit that on top and tie that down in the same place as that tan. And sorry, for the first one I used brown. This is tan 3mm foam, and we're just going to wrap that back to the bend, to the same spot, and then I'm going to come in and cover this all up and try to get this as nice and tight and covered as I can. And I do want to taper down to that eye, so I build up a little bit at the front, no problem with that. So this is going to make the underbody on here, and I'm just going to keep wrapping. This is where that 210 comes in handy in coloring all this up with turning it all black with thread. So it's just you get a lot more coverage with the 210 thread. So what's really going to show through is the bottom. So if I just turn my Renzetti here a little bit and just make sure I get it all covered whenever I pull this up over the back, I just want to make sure the underbelly is all black. If need be, you can always come back and hit it with a black marker. Next thing I want to do is I want to add 4 sections on here. So I want to wrap this up to where I stopped the foam before. So I want to segment this along the way. So I'm just going to come back, and I'm going to pull this first part over, and I'm going to make about 2 wraps here to lock this down. And then come up the same distance, and we're just going to build segments here. They're about 1/8 of an inch, I would say. And if you add 5, that's fine, but whatever. Just try to make them nice and even. Thing with fly fishing is always just trying to be proportionate. On this size 6, hey, I might get 5 out of this size 6 if I make these small wraps. So we'll do an extra one here. There. Okay, 2 wraps on each one, as you see there. And then we're going to pull our brown piece up over the back. And I wanted this one wider so you can see how it covers on the back, and it's going to show through that tan on the bottom underneath. Just a nice, give it an under segmented look here, and just make 2 nice wraps there. And there's our body on this fly. So you see you got a cool looking body, and not a lot of hard work there to do it. Next thing I'm going to do is put the wing on this hopper. For that, I'm using some EP fibers, and I don't want too thick. Well, that's like pencil thick when I'm not pulling it tight. Just real kind of thin. I'm going to double it over. So we're just going to lay it in that gap where I made my 2 wraps. I'm going to pull it down another 2 wraps, pull it real tight, and then 1 or 2 in front. And then to hold it down, I'm going to come in with a 2mm piece. I don't want that thick 3mm that I used right here. I'm going to come in with a 2mm piece of tan, which is going to make the head on this fly, but it's also going to make the wing cover. So just enough to hold that wing back the direction I want. And I'm going to make another 2 wraps there to hold that into place. Next thing we're going to put on is the legs. I'm using some round rubber legs on this. So round rubber legs, they usually come in this big strip like this. And I'm going to pull 2 of those off. So strip it down to where I just have 2 of them, as you see. And to make the legs, I'm just going to tie a knot. So I'm going to make 1 knot in here, like you see. Just pull that knot down. Pull it tight. And that's going to make the ankle or the knee of my leg, as you see right there, okay? So got that knot on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now separate this end and separate those 2 out, and I'm just going to cut one of those off. So the end of my leg from the knee to the foot only has 1 strand. You see there, 1 strand down here, 2 up here. So make it a little bit thicker, and it'll actually make 2 more legs sticking out the front. So I want to cut that about length and a half the length of the fly. Cut it a little bit long, like 2 inches long. You can always come back and shorten. You're going to shorten them up later, so cut it long if you need to. Then we're just going to set this on the side of the fly, and I want those legs to turn in. So I'm going to set it on the side, and I'm going to wrap that into place in the same spot as I've been making all my those 2 wraps at a time. And then I'm just going to tweak it to where I get it the length I want and the position I want. And I want it to ride right on the side like you see there, so it comes right out the side. Going to do the same thing on the other side with another set of legs. And I want that knee joint, I got to get these turned the direction I want them. There we go. In place. That's not laying how I want. There we go. So just keep tweaking it till you get them the way you want. And there you see they stick off both sides just like I want them. Now that I got that and I got them wrapped where I want, I'm going to complete the head on this. To make the head, I'm going to pull all this back, pull my foam back, and come up, and I'm just going to make a couple more wraps, clean up this underbelly on the head section here. And I want to come up about half an eye length back. So I want to tie this down, but I want to leave room to come up and whip finish a knot here in a second. So pull all my foam back up and make 2 more wraps and pull it down tight. And this is going to create the head on the fly. So there you see how I created the head with those 2 more wraps. Now I'm going to add 2 more legs to this. For that, I'm going to come in with just 1 strand of the rubber legs. And I'm going to cut it kind of long here so I can bend it around. So I'm going to tie it in on one side. Tie 1 strand on one side. Make about 2 wraps. And then I like to come through between the bottom 2 pieces of foam, wrap it around, and tie it down on the other side. So I'll show you here the top view. There you see the top view, how it goes around both sides, and that's going to create 2 more legs for us here in a second. So now that I got those all wrapped in place, I'm going to pull my foam back up, come in, make a couple wraps behind that eye, and whip finish that off right behind that eye. And then it's just a matter of cleaning this fly up once we get whip finished. So for a big hopper, it's a pretty easy fly to tie. Okay, now that I got that, I'm just going to cut off my tag end here. I'm going to come in those two front legs that are in that loop. I'm just going to separate that loop. That's going to give me two more legs. And now I'm going to make the head. So for the head, I'm going to start out with this top piece. I'm going to trim that a little bit shorter than the other ones. So you see that just hangs up there. Oh, my wing, I'll come back and cut the wing here in a second, but I'm going to finish the head. For the head then, I just want to cut this out in front of that eye. Just a little bit in front of the eye. Okay, I'll cut it at an angle like that, and then I'm just going to come in and trim off the corners to round out this head a little bit. And I want it to be a little bit bigger because it'll push water for you a little bit. So just round it out nice like that, and then come in and pick how long you want those legs to be. And just make them proportionate, don't make them too long. Okay, now you see how I got these two legs still stuck together? So I'll just separate those two legs on both sides. And that's going to give me a bunch of legs here on this fly. It's a really leggy pattern. Whoops. And then the wing, I'm going to take my wing and pull it right up behind the butt section there. I don't want a big long wing. I just want something I can see there. And there's a good looking fly. Last thing we're going to do, you can tweak those legs around where you want them. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Renzetti, roll it upside down here, and cover the threads on here to protect this. Get some toothy critters that'll tear it up. But I'm going to protect this with some Solarez Bone Dry. So all the thread areas, and especially like you can run it in between the legs. And if you want to adjust the legs at all, you can always do that too. Put a little bit in between, like I'll show you here. So I want to separate these legs a little bit. Just hit a little glue in there. That way you can get those going the direction you want. And that's all that's to this fly. Very cool little pattern. Very big pattern on this one, but cool one, not too hard to tie. Got my legs a little long on the hopper legs there. So I'll shorten them up and I'm done. So have fun tying, guys. This is a good one. Good hopper. Okay guys, I hope you liked that pattern. It wasn't really hard to tie, especially for such a big fly. It's a hopper pattern, and you know, if you're going out west, going hopper dropper fishing, this is one you might want to have with you in your box. For as easy it is to tie, give it a try. And you don't have to use 3mm and 2mm. You can do it with 2mm. It's just that 3 shows up a little bit better if you use it as your underbelly on this fly. So have fun tying, guys. That's what it's all about. And experiment with different colors. Change the colors of it, change the size. I'm tying this for an order, actually, for an order going down to Patagonia, and he wants them in 6s and 10s. So, you know, tie them down even into 12s. It would make a great central Pennsylvania fly here on a size 12. Great hopper pattern, like a size 12 would be perfect for here. So, oh, you can also add a little cider to it if you want. If you don't think you're going to see that white wing a little bit, add a little bit of cider material to it too. So have fun tying and experiment with different colors and different sizes. If you want me to tie any for you, you can reach out to me at holsingersflyshop@gmail.com. I'd be more than happy to tie some up like this one here. It's going on an order to somebody else. So, and if you need any of the materials to tie it, you can find that at our shop at holsingersflyshop.com. So thanks for watching, guys. Until next week when I bring you another video, I'm Shawn Holsinger.